How you doing, man? How are you? You in Atlanta right now?
Yeah, I'm back home in Atlanta. Thank you so much for having me on. We're super stoked for the cruise.
Awesome. Um, so yeah, we're you mentioned that for you'll be a first time cruiser, which is going to be something it's gonna be something unique for you for sure, especially this cruise, the theme cruise kind of thing. You can definitely add it to your list of crazy shit that you've done.
Yeah.
But where's my drinks?
You can
Uh,
talk.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Sorry.
hey, Cass.
Nice to see you. How are you, Al?
Great. How are you?
I don't have any coffee for you.
Do you want
Sorry.
to do you want to come in and just be the guest on the podcast tonight, or
No,
are you
no. I'm all
okay?
right.
All right.
I'm
Well, let me know when you're ready. So, so Jackson, you're sitting in Atlanta right now, and
Mhm.
I gotta say, my first question to you is, what happened to you in life to get to send you on this crazy fucking path that you're on right now?
Um, yeah, I mean, I always just kind of liked music as a kid. I think like a lot of musicians, I never quite like fit in school or I was always the kid in like a band who like I had to like beg the kids at school to come see us and we sucked and whatever. And now we've been at it for a few years and I like to think that we're good now. Uh so so yeah, it's just kind of like I've always liked music and I just knew I was going to pursue that.
Um, so what was what was the impetus? I mean, obviously, I mean, not obviously, I guess I should ask, as a half of a musician myself, it's like the first experience, right? And not to get too cliche on the questions, but I just want to kind of get a sense. It's like everybody has their first thing, or maybe their first record they listened to, or their dad gave them a guitar, right? Or their dad stuck a harmonica up their ass, like Justin. What
She
what
left
was
downstairs.
what was it? What was it? What was the moment?
I don't, there were definitely like different moments. Like neither of my parents like listened to like heavy music. Maybe my mom a little bit. But like sometimes I don't know, there were moments like on the radio. Like I remember as a little kid listening to the radio in my dad's truck and it would be like a lot of like REM or something and then like Nine Inch Nails came on one day and it was Head Like a Hole and like that song I was like, "Oh, this sounds like evil." And I was probably like 9 years old or something. So that was definitely like a moment. And there's just been like moments where like heavy songs have kind of worked their way into like me hearing them somehow, like when I was a little kid. And whenever I just kind of realized quickly like I like whatever this is.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, was there in Atlanta, was there any country music happening in your house?
No, no. So I think I guess my mom likes like Pearl Jam and stuff. So my mom liked more hard rock, but I wasn't like he's gonna hate me for saying this, but I wasn't around it as much, or she didn't like force it down my throat. Um, and then like my dad, it was like kind of calm rock or what, yeah, whatever REM is, or that like Matchbox 20. It was like stuff like that. And then I kind of just like there was no country music as a kid, nothing really bad like that. Um, but I just kind of had to find heavy music on my own.
Dig
Well,
And if you like country music, I'm sorry.
There's a lot of it I love. There's a lot of it I don't. It's just like any other
and
genre for me. There's
yeah,
some that I like and some I don't.
it's funny. Jackson is like your sound. The sound you guys have now is obviously the influence of Atlanta hip hop cannot be overlooked. I mean, it's Outcast and everything else. That's so formative.
Yeah, I
As rock
definitely
is
like
there.
a lot of rap music. I like a lot more rap music from like the late 90s, early
Hmm.
2000s than I do
Sure.
like now. Like I don't think we sound like a
No.
band that's from Atlanta because I think when you think of Atlanta, you think of like trap music or
Mhm.
like rappers and like
Yeah.
although I do rap in the music, I think like we definitely resonate more as like a metal band than we
Yeah.
do like a rap group.
And
Um but I guess it's just kind of there definitely is that influence. I love Outkast, and yeah, just kind of trying to take all different genres and put them together.
Well, it's funny. I was listening to Bad Behavior. I take a walk. That's the best way for me to kind of take in music and kind of have an
Mhm.
opinion about it. But obviously, the markers are there for your influences, Limp Bizkit and things of that nature. But I'm also like, man, I wonder if he knows that it sounds like a lot of that NYHC stuff, like Biohazard, Life of Agony. That's there. And then you've got these like ethereal parts, like almost like Evanescence, that are sort of
Mhm.
wedged in there for some of the choruses. I mean, were those bands in any way, shape, or form part of your growing up?
For sure. Yeah, yeah. Corn does that too sometimes, and I can't think of a specific example, but I know um I never got too into Evanescence, although I still need to do a deep dive. But I think what you're referring to is like in Tsunami, and we do this in a few songs, but mainly in Tsunami, like the bridge gets like really like vibey and low, and I sing. Um
King of the Hill is what kind of that's what kind of
Yeah,
like
that too.
there's a part of it where I can hear that, right? I can hear Amy Lee in the background there for some reason, you know?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, definitely like anything from that generation, like new metal, alternative metal, all those bands I kind of really got into. So
Hmm.
there's definitely that influence as well.
Yeah,
Were you so you were attracted to metal first, kind of more so than rap music, right?
Yeah, I didn't like the screaming in metal when I was a little kid. That took me, and
That's
that's
called
why
that's called irony.
yeah, because now I do it. I first got into Rage Against the Machine. That was like my first band that I was ever like obsessed with as a little kid, and I liked it because it was heavy, but there was no like exact like yells, but it wasn't like crazy screaming. And then from there, I got into like Limp Bizkit because it has had a more modern production style, and then like Fred screams sometimes. And then once I got used to that, that was like the gateway drug, and I got into more and more like screaming and heavy stuff.
well,
But I think rapping and screaming come to me like most naturally. So that's kind of where like there's obviously like a big overlap in our sound and like Limp Bizkit. You can tell that we're influenced by them. So I think that's kind of why similarity. I mean, because I grew up like listening to that, so like it's gonna come out in our sound a little bit.
yeah, you got the Limp Bizkit bounce.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
That's
sure.
something they specialize. I mean, obviously, one of the bands on on the cruise, we will call you cruise mates, POD. That you guys kind of cross
Hmm.
paths a lot on your sound, so
yeah.
that's a really good
POD is
fit.
awesome.
And
I'm
Al,
yeah.
yeah, Al made good mention that you will be a big attraction on this because your music falls right into the sweet spot of what this audience is into. Like aggressive live shows, like real lively, that big sound that just moves. That's what people want to hear on the cruise. I mean, you know, it's so you guys are going to fit in real great, and I think you're going to be overwhelmed by the reception of it all.
Hell yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So where did how did you meet the guys? Because it was cool. It was refreshing checking out your music yesterday and today, kind of getting ready. My dog is going to get his throat cut, and don't sue me. Dog, Buff. Hold on one second. Yeah, his name's Buff.
Very good, very good.
It's okay. Should I?
This is still recording. So, you guys just finished up a tour?
Yeah.
Professional
We
Buff.
just did a tour. We just did a tour with
Buff
Unity,
don't
Texas.
understand my profession.
Yeah. How did, what was your reception like from the audiences for that tour?
It was cool. It was awesome.
Mhm.
And I mean, those guys are another I mean, they've been doing it a bit longer than we have, but they're another like new metal band. And I like listened to them in high school. So it was really sick like getting to tour with them, become friends with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great experience.
Well, so we got Oxymorons as well too. So that's again another band that kind of fits into that what you guys kind of do, your scheme of things.
For
So
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, very cool.
So how did the guys come together? They all local dudes too?
Yeah, so me and Alan, our drummer, We've been playing together now for about like 6 or 7 years, like not under the name Silly Goose the whole time, but we like started playing in high school. I was probably like a sophomore, and I think he was in eighth grade. I'm 23 now, so however many years ago that it probably seven years ago, I think. And
Justin's got he's got beard fungus older than you.
yeah,
I don't even know what
yeah,
that
so,
is. That a
No,
thing?
it goes back to Hark. I laugh because Jackson, you have Netflix, correct?
yeah,
Have you watched the Woodstock '99 documentary?
yes,
And I'm
yeah,
thinking, man,
that's
this
like
kid
the
wasn't even
coolest.
born when Limp
I know
Bizkit
it's
was
crazy,
like
but yeah,
that performance. It's just
but
so
it's
funny.
awesome because I'm listening to you guys and
Yeah,
I'm going. This is so much fun because it just I mean it is that to me. And that's a
yeah.
it's a
It's
supreme compliment for sure. It's done really well. You
yep.
guys know exactly what you're doing. And mostly for me,
Thank you.
Justin, and a lot of our guests are going to feel this way listening to this. For me, I'm like, damn, man, 23. 23 is fucking awesome. And a lot of time, and I think you're the kind of guy, Jackson, where you're looking at you at 23. And if you don't, you should. You're looking at 23 and you should be going, this is this is a great time for me because I'm young and I'm healthy and I'm energetic and I'm fired up about this fucking thing that I'm doing. It's like that's where the excitement level comes from dudes like me and Justin. It's like, man, these
Well,
guys
no,
are out there.
but it's
Yeah.
funny you mention that because I think going, yeah, 23, he's making this music and it's awesome to be 23. I'm going, you know, Eddie Van Halen was 23 when they made Van Halen. And you're kind of going, fuck. And like
Right.
Paul Stanley was 23 when they did Kiss. You're like, man, God, what a great age. And you
Hmm.
have all these like this, you come up with this thing and it like fucking, it's awesome. It turns
Yeah, it
people
is.
on.
It is. And
Cool shit.
the other thing I got
Thanks.
excited about was when I was listening to music was I saw the credits. It's like there's five guys' names listed, right? So everybody's kind of it feels like everybody's in it together. And everybody's getting
For
songwriting
sure.
credit, and it's like it feels like there's a good vibe, and you guys are going, "Hey, man!" Because look, it takes a team. You know, good luck doing this by yourself, Jackson. Right? In
Yeah,
any sense, right? It's like you got to have somebody that's just as crazy as you are to go pull the shit off, and it's impossible to pull that. It is. It's just impossible to lug that weight because it's a big weight you're trying to pull along, right? And
for sure.
you need as many bodies pulling that weight as you can. So it's
And yeah, we've definitely been through our fair share of member changes, lineup changes, but me it's been kind of like the core is like me, Alan, and Ian, our guitar player. I mean, Ian and Alan are both like musical masterminds, and then I'm kind of the business dude behind the scenes, and then like the face of the project, I guess, to the public. But yeah, both of them are super talented and super committed, and I'm just like, I'm very lucky that I get to play with them.
It's now that's one of the things that and Alan will tell you that is like it's finding those same mindsets to say, hey man, are we gonna 5 or 10 year haul this thing? Are you guys ready to do that? Are you ready committed? Or are you gonna have this like rotation of people? It's like that's the hard thing is finding those people that will sit there and say, you know what, I'll van it for as long as we can until we get to
Yeah,
a bandwagon, and then we can get up to a bus. Are you willing
yeah,
to do that? You know, that's right there's the genius is finding
for
that.
sure. Yeah, and it definitely sometimes you think you find that person who's down, and then something life always seems to happen. And I've learned that nothing goes according to plan in the music industry, especially. So I just try and be as go with the flow as I can, and take it all in and have a good time. It's kind of
Yeah,
the
yeah. The
vibe.
romance gets knocked out of it real quick, and then you got to do the work.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I think especially in the like today's day and age, like I think I can't compare because I wasn't around in the 90s, but I
Damn
think
it,
there's definitely a
fucking
lot
kid.
more.
I think he means to say he wasn't alive.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
wasn't alive.
Yeah.
There wasn't I feel like there's a lot less money in the music industry now, and all artists talk about that, but people don't really realize it. And I watch like people come into our band and they're super stoked to be there, and then they realize like how much money we're making and like the effort and the work that goes into it and how big you have to be to like live comfortably. And then so I think maybe if we had been coming up in the 90s, like we would have gone through less member changes just because of like it would have been easier to feed people. But I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe I'm reaching.
physical product was very important in order to fill your bank accounts. I mean, you still have to do it now, but it's through merch and you know
for
things of that
sure. There's
nature.
not the streaming
VIP
aspect anymore.
programs, yeah, meet and greet programs are really big.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Before we started, we were talking about the ship a little bit, not to bounce around too much, but we were talking about the ship a little bit and how your friends in Dead Poet crashed the boat.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah, so they told me that the boat crashed, and they were like, "You guys are gonna have a lot of fun on the boat next year." The boat crashed while we were on it. So what's the lowdown? What happened?
yeah, it was crazy, man. I mean, that was it was the 14th sailing of ShipRocked, and nothing like that's ever happened. It was a perfect storm, no pun. Uh, the first day getting on, we had a tornado warning in Miami. So that kind of threw everything off as far as getting on the ship. And I'm going to terrify you right now, but all these things are incredibly rare. They just happen to happen all on this during the same week.
Nice.
Then when the ship pulled up to the port, the gangway broke, which is the way that you get from the terminal. It's like the jetway on a airplane, right? The gangway
Mhm.
broke. That put us behind. Then we get on board the ship. We knew the weather, so the schedule changed. So like a Monday was now a Wednesday, and Wednesday was now a Tuesday, and Friday that was the first day. Like all the schedule changed because of the weather, the predicted weather, and everything kind of got settled in. And then we went ahead and we weren't even supposed to be in Jamaica the day we were in Jamaica, and the ship pulled up pulled up to the pier, and the weather was really bad, and the ship got slammed into the
Sorry, my cat.
no, it's hey, you'd rather
I'm
have a
sorry,
cat.
I'm listening.
You'd rather have a cat than a dog barking like me.
Yeah.
But the ship wound up hitting the pier, the concrete pier, and the moorings came off and fell into the sea. And the captain of the ship captain had no choice but to say, "Hey,
Hey,
listen,
Mom, do you want to say hi?
Mom, do you want to say hi?
Yeah, come here, Mom.
Come
You're
on,
in
Mom,
the
let's
interview.
go. Mom, have you met Kess
No, come say hi.
or Buff?
My mom doesn't want to say hi.
Come on, Mom. Jeez. So
There's her
there she.
hand.
Okay, close enough.
That's her
Close
hand.
enough.
That's right.
Close enough.
Thanks.
Is mom needs to come on the ship? She would like it.
Yeah, she does. We gotta hook her up with some free
Drinks?
a free cabin.
Free drinks.
Hey, listen. If this interview goes well, anything could happen, Mom. Anything could happen. You may be
He
on the
can't
high
hear you,
seas.
but good things are being said, Mom. It's all good.
I want to go back to the Dead Poet thing because one of the hardest things I had to do. So the ship hit the thing, and we had to go way out to sea for the safety of the ship, and had to figure things out. But the hardest thing I had to do, maybe the hardest thing I had to do during the course of ShipRocked, in as many years as I've been around, is the schedule changed, and Dead Poet was supposed to play on the deck, the main deck stage, their second show, and we could not make it happen because one of the headliners hasn't played. Like literally, the headliner hadn't played yet. And the short story is, I had to go. I was like, you know what, I got to talk to them in person. And I walked up to the band and I said, "What's his name again?" Singer.
Which one?
Jack.
The singer, Jack.
Jack. I spaced it for a second. I went up to Jack, and I love that band. I think they're great, and I
Yeah.
stood there and watched their whole show.
They're awesome.
I enjoyed the shit out of the show, but I knew at the back of my mind I was like, I have to talk to him after the show. So he got done with the show, and he's saying hello to the fans, and he's riding high, and everything's great. And that band was fucking awesome. I really like that band, and I like him a lot. And I had to come up to him and say, "Hey, Jack, I got some bad news for you. Your Lido Deck show is canceled, and we have to put you back in this theater, in this venue for your second show." And he was so nice, he was so cool, and he was so gracious, and that made me feel even worse. I almost wish he would have punched me, but it was just like there was no way
He's
around
a
it.
very
So
nice guy.
so yeah, he's so sweet, and so I'm pleased to know that was the worst thing he said about us was that that they crashed into the ship
No,
or into
yeah,
the port.
and
So
I think they all had a great time. It was Dylan, the bass player, all of them, like, because we toured with them this year. Actually, we were on like a week of their tour, and Dylan was the one who was telling me, but all of them said they had a great time.
yeah, I mean,
One of the things,
go ahead,
I'm
Justin.
sorry.
No.
One of the things, Jackson, that Al left out of that little thing is basically the boat had to leave the pier to go, and the Coast Guard wanted to take them out and see if the boat was still saleable, because if not, we were really in pickle. But it's funny to watch 3,000 people on the shore going about their business. All of a sudden, their boat leaves, and everyone's kind of looking at each other like it feels like an episode of Lost.
Yeah, right.
Isn't
Eventually
that
came
isn't that our ride?
kind of, yeah, that's like, where's that? Where's the, everyone's looking at each other like, well, I mean, people are like, okay, where's hotels? We have to start looking up. I mean, people got very proactive quickly, but
Yeah.
little did they know that their boat was coming back to get them. It was still seaworthy, so it was ended up being very good, but it was one for the books.
Yeah, for
Was
sure.
the is the island like were they looking for hotels like on the island? Because I is it like a remote island or I
Yeah,
haven't
it
done
was
it
no, I mean
before.
it was Jamaica. It's
Oh, just
Jamaica, but
Rios, yeah.
it's you know,
I
it's
didn't know if it was
Jamaica.
like an island off of that.
No, it was Jamaica proper, Ocho Rios, which is a you know a pretty major port stop there. There's
Hmm.
amenities and all the facilities are there. Not necessarily to house 1,600 guests that were stranded there for the night, right? Or they weren't stranded for the night, but those are the conversations like where do these people stay? Where do they go? And luckily, we were fortunate enough to come back and grab another port and get everybody on the ship. And I look back and I go, man, look, the best part about getting back on the ship for those guests was that they walked on the ship. The band started right away. The food was kept open late and they could get right
Yeah.
into their cabins, into their rooms. It was like, and I think a lot of guests were like, okay, once we get on the ship, the music starts, we have a couple drinks. It's like, that's just going to be in the rearview mirror quickly.
Mhm.
And I felt
Yeah.
like it was. I mean, you'll experience this. The guest community is, these people are unbelievable. They're huge music fans.
Mhm.
They live and die for live music. They really they do, and they're a great community, and you'll experience this. And the other thing you're going to experience is for the rest of your career, if you go 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, you're going to have people at your shows that say, I saw you on ShipRocked. And you come around, they're going to be there again, and they're going to be there again. They're just that's those types of people. That's
We've
just
had people at our shows now who are like, "I'm going to see you on ShipRocked. Like, I'm going to see you in January on ShipRocked." So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
very
they're
excited for that
researchers, man. They're researching you. They're seeing what you're about.
yeah.
Yeah,
for
it's for
sure.
sure.
So
For sure.
don't screw this up.
Yeah, don't fuck.
Right.
I just paid $5,000 for this vacation. Don't fuck it up.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see you guys on the ship. I can't divulge when you're going to play, obviously, but there's some opportunities there that I think our guests are really gonna dig this. So I'm super excited for you. What what's up with where do the ideas come from? Like I mean, I almost said the word stunts, but they're not stunts because it's all in fun, right? And it's all like, let's do
Right.
something weird. And for a guy like me, I appreciate that because this Labor Day I rented a pontoon boat and I put my cover band on it. We just drove around and had a generator and played. So I'm I'm
Yeah.
I'm consuming your shit and I'm like, yes. And that's why I come back to being 23. I'm like, man, if I was 23, I'd really be doing this shit right. Right. But so I appreciate that. Where does that I mean, is it just random shit that you wake up in the morning and go, hey, what if we because there's a promotional element to it too, right?
For sure. Yeah, yeah. Everything we do, I mean, like the us like playing outside of shows and like all the random stuff like in the street or like the videos that you see that go viral, all of that came from a place of like we were playing shows in high school or playing shows like shortly after to like empty rooms and no one cared about our band. Um, and it was just like how do we reach a much larger audience and like how do we present this image of like we're like our shows are crazy and we're insane and we just like want to have a good time. So like following like bands around on tour and playing in the street or like playing outside of festivals, the that was all our way of kind of like um getting our name out there in like a different way. And like what that does, like I'm a very strong believer in like if you go and pass out flyers or if you go and like make these connections with people in person or give them a real life experience like that, it's going to stick with them forever and like or be much more impactful than like an ad like when they're scrolling on Instagram. So like it's stuff like that for the people like in person, but then it's also like we can take this video and now we have this viral video that got like 4 or 5 million views, and then so we're reaching people like in person and on the internet. Um, and like so that's kind of where all that came from. It's just like a different way to like tell the world we're here because it's a very like very noisy world with a lot of bands, and it was like how do we differentiate ourselves?
Well, it's high. That is high tier busking, right? When you can sell
Yeah.
to four or
Yeah.
5 million people. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I actually it's funny you say that because I did that too as a kid. I in like middle school, I briefly lived in New Jersey, and I would take the train like into New York City, or I'd play by the beach in New Jersey, and I'd just like play on buckets. Like my first instrument was drums, so that's kind of where I got the whole idea to play in the street. And I don't think many people know that, but the very first time I played in the street was like busking on buckets, and then I was like, hey, like if we had a full band and like a trailer, like I bet this would work too. Like many years later, I thought that. So yeah, that's kind of where it all came from.
Yeah, I live in New Orleans, man. I live in Bourbon Street here, and you go up and down, and it's the bucket kids all over the place, right? They're out there, earning their $20 to $100 or whatever. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, for sure.
What's kind of as you as the business guy, what's the what's the 5 year plan? What's the 2 year, 3 year, 5 year plan? I mean, where do you want to go? I mean,
For
it's because
sure.
it's kind of a standard question. Everybody wants to play arenas and stadiums, right? But
Yeah, no,
there's also a little, there's tiers along the way.
I think we're like kind of now in like the second stage of like the first stage was like like doing all this crazy stuff and getting everyone to know us and like making everyone aware of our existence. And I still that's the part of where we come from, and I want to keep doing crazy stuff like that like here and there. But now like we don't want that to, be our whole identity. So we're kind of just like now in the stage of like we put out this EP that we're really proud of, and we're working on the album that I think is gonna be awesome. And we're just doing real tours and kind of telling everyone like, hey, like this is how you heard of us, but like we're the real deal, and like
Mhm.
we want to like do this for a living. Um, so yeah, I'd say the ultimate goal is to grow this as large as we can, and I get to the highest ceiling we can, and then break it and keep going. Um, yeah, man, because I want to make a living off this, and I want to have like a family one day, hopefully, and be able to pay for them. So I think we gotta get to amphitheater size somehow, and
Yeah.
this is the start.
Yeah, and I think that there's what you're doing now is scalable, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you can still do crazy, ridiculous, bad ideas that turn out to be good,
Right.
with a budget. That would be kind of nice because I'm sure there's some things you thought about. You're like, man, if we could only get, if we could get this on a jet, what if we were
Yeah,
on a jet? That so the budget kind of helps the creative
for sure.
sometimes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And definitely having more money behind it. Like I never want to lose like the crazy ideas, or like I always want to be the band that like you're not gonna guess what Silly Goose just did, or you're not gonna guess what they just did. Um, so that's never gonna go away. But it's cool having a little more money behind it. We can find more creative
You know,
ways to do things.
it's funny you talk about like the money you'd make in the 90s, but there's a very structured form about the industry. The thing now is it's so wide open because bands have either gone to just digital streaming their stuff and they're going to drop a song a month or whatever, that you can now be that band that goes, hey, did you see what this band did? Have you checked out this video of this what these fucking guys did? Because now you're no longer beholden to all these gatekeepers anymore at the labels. I mean, it's funny thing, you guys are with Blue Grape, and I was thinking about them, and I was going, I have an old Sepultura shirt that's put out by Blue Grape, right? Well, they were the
Mhm.
merch company, right? For like Roadrunner. And
I have
now
no
they're the
idea.
label.
That would make sense though, because Dave Rath, who owns Blue Grape, was the head of A&R at Roadrunner. So
There you
that
go,
would make
dude.
There you go.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I didn't know they were a company before. That's cool.
yeah, man, they used to put out all the merch for stuff that was coming off Roadrunner, whether it's Slipknot or even Nickelback or whoever. So yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
well, so that right there, you're in a good place because you do have a seasoned veteran who's
Mhm.
thinking way outside the box, man. I'm going to turn my merch company into a label, right? And
For
still
sure.
hold merch.
Yeah.
So he keeps it all in house. So that's actually the proper platform for you guys to kind of move, have those connections to get to those next level tours or festivals or whatever it is. And once you get on
Right.
Danny's festivals, you're going to be, you're kind of baked into it now.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the we're on Sonic Temple this year, and this was like the first year where I felt like, okay, like I think we're in. Like I don't have to worry about it anymore. Because the first year we got on Louder Than Life because we played outside in the parking lot of one of his other festivals. And I kind of knew that was 2022. And like I knew that in that moment I was like, soak this in because like I don't know like when we're gonna get this opportunity again. And then the next year, like we didn't get the offers for any of the festivals. And then we got added onto them anyways because we had videos like go viral. But this is like the first year where I feel like we've played the festivals 3 years in a row, and I think we're good now. Like I think
Hmm.
we're gonna get it each year.
Yeah, it's a matter of just nose of the grindstone too, right? And that's a good thing. I think you got a good perspective. You're kind of looking at it in the moment, but you said, embrace this moment, right?
For sure.
Because we don't know what's gonna happen, right? Embrace the moment, but reach for the next one. Hate to say it, it's that damn Miley Cyrus song. It ain't. It's the climb. It's the climb, guys.
Yeah.
There is no you can't really have a destination. I don't think. I think you always just have to say, "Hey, we're here." I've worked with some artists in the past where it's like, "Oh, I got a record deal," and then the wind went completely out of the sails. Like they would think that
Right.
something was
They
supposed to
stopped trying
happen,
as hard.
and this was
Mhm.
and this is 15 years ago, right? When I was doing that and going out there and hustling that, and the business changed that much. It wasn't like it is now, but still there was that thing where it's like, oh, I'm connected with this person, and so is my producer, and boy, the work ethic that was there before to get to that place just disappeared. And
Yep.
Right.
that's like the ultimate cautionary tale. And that's where
For sure.
it's Miley Cyrus, man. It's the climb. There's never a destination. You get to that peak of that mountain and you look around, you take a deep breath, and then you go, okay, where's the next mountain? Where are we go? Right? Where are we going next?
Mhm.
So I think you have a good, you saying that, enjoy this moment right here. Appreciate it because you don't know. I think that's a really healthy attitude to have. So
Thanks.
yeah, of course. Um, I mean, I'm not a professional journalist, and I probably could have done some homework, but I figured I would ask you. It'd be better just to ask you directly. The fucking name of this band is ridiculous.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
it's
something. Is this something your grandmother called you sometime when you were 5 years old
I
or
mean,
stuff?
we should
no.
have we should have a call in right now, Justin, and have people guess,
Yeah.
right?
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, we definitely like we could give some crazy reasons behind the name. The honest answer though is just like someone threw out the name and like we were like that's really stupid. Like people are not going to forget that. People are going to hear that and like it's going to stick. Whether you like love it or hate it, like you won't forget that name. So that's kind of the reason behind it.
Was it someone who's still a member of the band?
We actually have an ongoing debate about that. I think it was me who said it. It was me. But
Not much of a debate.
Alan, yeah, Alan thinks it was somebody else. It was me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
Have
call
you
Alan.
have
What's
you
Alan's number?
have you
Yeah.
mistakenly, or has anyone mistakenly, any jam band fan ever come mistakenly to your show thinking they're coming to see Goose?
Mm.
That hasn't happened yet, but there's definitely like people on the internet who will tag us in things by mistake, like videos of Goose or like maybe vice
Good,
versa.
Yeah,
good.
hell with it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You should do one of their songs as a fucking like a B-side.
Well, I think we should have a show with Goose. I don't think it would make any sense musically,
No.
but just
They
for
make no
the
sense musically,
jokes.
so you're
Yeah,
good. You're
it's
good.
fine. Yeah,
You're fine.
that would be fine.
But yeah,
So the songwriting process always is interesting to me. So is it a matter of the guys come up with a riff, or they come up with is it in person? Where's the rehearsal space? Like what's the real juice behind the creative process?
for sure. Yeah, yeah. So when we're all back home, we all live in like the suburbs of Atlanta. Um, we usually go to Ian's house in his basement. Alan wants it to be at his house because so he doesn't have to drive. That's another ongoing debate. But
We need to call his ass up right now and
yeah,
get him on.
we need Alan to start doing more of these interviews with me. He
Yeah.
they like for me to do all the interviews, but yeah, I won't
Hey,
speak for,
take
but
them,
I
man. That way that you're always the face when people think of Silly Goose, they think of you.
Yeah.
Take advantage of that.
yeah. He's funny though. But yeah, so we'll get together at Ian's house and we usually like he'll throw out a riff and then we'll just like I don't know, like the way our first record was like just us playing in a room, and then this might be like the less cool way, but now we do it on laptops, like because it's easier.
Hmm.
We'll all get together in a room still because I think it would be hard if like we sent everything back and forth and we weren't there. Because like we'll do it on a laptop and then we'll go like and play it in the room, like it's all in the same room. And then we'll see how it feels. But it's just kind of easier that way because then we can just like drag parts or like or edit things. And then we'll kind of like compose the whole song. And while the band is like doing that, I'll be thinking of lyrics, and then like we put the lyrics on last, and that's kind of how the demos come together.
Hmm.
It's a kind of a lot of boasting and toasting in your lyrics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It pretty much if I can make myself laugh or if I can make the guys laugh, then the lyric makes the cut pretty
Right,
much.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right now maybe your songwriting is more about the energy of the moment and cutting up than it is something that may develop into something deeper later.
For sure. I mean, well,
I mean,
there's
some of it
definitely
is. I can sense that. Sorry to interrupt you.
yeah. No, 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 you're good. There's definitely different like the overall vibe of the band is like we're here to have a good time and like make people laugh and stuff, and that's what comes through most prominently on a lot of the songs. But for each project we do, we'll try and have like one or two songs on there that are different from the rest. On the most recent EP, there's the song called "Everything's Over Now," and that one is like less. It's very different because it's different both like subject matter and like song structure, like instrumentally. It's got like this verse and then like this big singing radio chorus. And then it's got like a heavy like math core,
Mm.
almost like second verse with a lot of screaming. Um, so yeah, that one's a bit more serious, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
where I
was
was
gonna say
going with
on
that.
I was gonna say in your last album you had the song "Give Up," similar. It just kind of like this, kind of like straight like radio rock thing that it wouldn't be too, and I not too far removed from like a Foo Fighters type setup.
For sure. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That one was we very much wanted to do one with that was like completely singing. I do rap at like the end of it, but yeah, that one was I think I think I was probably like 20 or 19 when we
Did
made
you
that
just break
song.
up with a chick?
No. Maybe,
All
yeah.
right.
That one was a little more sad.
And Alan's the guitar player,
Alan's the
the
drummer and
drummer.
Ian's the
Ian's
guitar
the guitar
player.
player. Well, listen, Ian, if when you don't listen to this, the parts are fucking great. Like as a half of a guitar player, there's a couple in the video right now, but yeah, I can't. Nobody can play him. But there's some really good shit going on. So good job, Ian. That's some really cool guitar, like well thought out, highly musical shit. So
He's the best.
yeah, and that's
He's the
what's fun
best.
about it. It's like there's this musical, really musical stuff, like you said, some mathcore weird shit that's going on, but it all kind of comes together, right? The
Right.
drums all kind of come together, and kind of keep it all tidy. So it's super
Uh,
cool, man. What is the
Thank you.
what's the so the next so it's been what the EP was what 5 songs recently,
Mhm.
and then before that there was the full album, or was that
Yeah.
also? Yeah, that's right.
So first, I think 2021 was like the first thing we did under the name Silly Goose. That was like a 4-song EP. And then the album came like a year or two later. And those were all kind of songs that we made in high school and stuff. And then the most recent EP, the Bad Behavior EP, is still, I like to think of it, it's the same spirit, but it's like that on steroids. Like, I think the lyricism's a lot better. I think the music is better. I think the production's better. Um, so yeah, definitely we're really stoked on this
You look,
new
did you look,
EP.
do you listen back to those other the records already that you made 4 years ago and go, I was just a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't I'm very I think like a lot of other musicians, I'm very hard on myself, and
Yeah.
I won't say it, but every song I could go listen to and be like, man, I wish I had done that, or I wish we had done
Yeah.
this thing differently. However, on the new EP, I'd say Tsunami is the first song ever where I don't have anything I would change.
No
Like I
complaints. No complaints.
Yeah,
No
no
changes. Yeah.
complaints. Which is it's very hard to like make me like content.
Yeah.
So
That's the unicorn, man. That's
Yeah,
that just doesn't. I mean, that's so rare. That's a one. It's actually a wonderful thing. That's good.
right.
Jackson. So one of the things that we talk to artists about is like the new paradigm of, is it worth putting out full length albums anymore, or can you EP your way through a career, right? Is that sometimes the thinking with bands now? Maybe in your position where it's like, it's better to just put out five killer songs instead of like maybe an album with like half of it kind of like, should we have written that damn song? Um,
Yeah,
is it because people's, you're also trying to grab attention spans that are dwindling these days, right?
right.
Everything's getting faster, faster, faster. You know, what's your thinking on that? Is it still worth doing 10 to 12 songs, or are you just gonna say, hey, let's just knock out 4 to 6 killers?
I think if we only did EPs, I think it would feel weird. I think we still need full lengths, and full lengths also kind of like embody like a moment in time or like a generation, not a generation,
A
a
moment in
time
time. A
period
moment in time. Yeah, I get
a
you.
moment in time for like the band, like an era of a band. That's the word I was looking for. Like, because that record and then the few years around that when you're playing those songs all the time. So I think like records are still very much important. I think it would be weird if we did like only EPs or singles.
Okay.
However, I do think it's cool to like if the record's got 10 songs on it, I'm down to do like 5 or 6 singles, like way too many singles and drag it out as much as we can. But if the whole thing comes out as singles or something, then there's no, it's like it's kind of like you just put out 10 songs and now you're calling it an album. So at
Mhm.
some point I think there has to be like a larger body of work for people to go listen to that comes out at once. But yeah, I think record
You
to
know,
singles is
I think that's future thinking, because what's going to happen is the next full length you guys put out is going to be an absolute fucking classic. And what's going to happen in 15 years, you guys are going to be like, we're running out of tour ideas. What do we do? Remember that album we did? We're going to do it in its
Yeah.
entirety. That's going to be our
Yeah.
next. And then the greatest hits will be the
yeah.
encore.
Yeah.
That seems to be the new thing. Yeah.
I I do think too, it's the album is a weird, the singles thing is a weird thing for me. You made me think of something, Jackson, where you're going, okay, if I did a 10 song album,
Mhm.
and you said I need five to be singles, right?
Yeah,
That's a weird, to me, that's a weird way to write. Like, I
for
wouldn't
sure.
want to be in the position of going, hey, I got to write a single. Like, what kind of fucking shackles are you putting on me at this point? Like,
For sure.
can't I just write what I want to write? And if a single comes, and that might be the beauty of 10 songs or 12 songs, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. I think, I mean, whenever we go into a song with the mindset of like, we need a single, nothing
You're
good
fucked.
ever comes
Yeah.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll make
The,
sure you never call Mutt Lang, because he will make every song you do try to become a single.
Yeah.
Look at Hysteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything Shania Twain
It's a
did.
good problem to have.
Yeah.
yeah.
It
I,
is a good problem to have, but if as a band that writes their own music and like that's their thing and that's their voice, it's got to be a weird time to be trying to write songs in a rock band right now because that I just it baffles
Yeah.
me. It's like, and I look at it too. It's like you got to be careful not to go. And when you talked about our writing approach has changed with laptops because it's easier to copy and paste. I
right.
had a producer tell me one time, not as the artist, but working with an artist, he said the easier it is something about the easier that it is to create sometimes doesn't mean it's better. Like sometimes the
Right.
hardest stuff you do, going to practice, recording on a cassette tape, hashing out the songs in their entirety, working on them with your instruments on your, with a microphone in your hand behind the drums, like that's hard. It's hard to
Yeah,
find
for
the
sure.
time, the energy, the effort, like all that stuff is hard to do. And I think that's what might separate those, especially now that
Yeah.
everybody's behind a laptop. And then I've already spoke too much, but I think the other example to me was like a band like Pearl Jam. You mentioned your mom's ultimate favorite hard rock outfit. Um, and she's there to prove it. She can't deny it. She would have denied it already. But that's a band where it's like, boy, those first couple records, man, in the basement, wherever in the cold weather, man. And it
Right.
showed, and you could feel palpable energy of what they were trying to create. And that's my fear with music going forward and how people are writing with more and more
Mhm.
technology. There's that fine line where you can separate from humanity a little bit, right? And also it's something that maybe bands now, like Justin said, might have to get back to that. and that's what makes it fresh. It's like it's simpler. It's us. It really is us. There,
Yeah.
not no computers. I think that's ridiculous. But just like the songwriting process, not leaning on it so heavily. I'm not giving you advice. I'm just saying, the producer
I got you.
I talked to, right, is he felt like it could get in the way. But so it's just interesting that trying to write, it kind of goes back to trying to write for the single, and like we can't just write for
Yeah.
this because we're not going
I
to get
think our
one. We're not
best
going to get one.
Yeah, our best songs come together like when we're not trying. I know
Mhm.
that I know that
Yeah.
sounds weird, but like when we just go in a room, like some of the songs on the new record that hasn't come out yet and won't come out for a while. Um, but some of my favorite songs on there and that we think are gonna be like the best songs on the record, we like wrote like super fast. Like one of the songs I wrote the lyrics for in like 25 minutes, which
Mhm.
is very out of character for me nowadays because like I've been challenging myself and like I really want the lyricism for all these songs to like for there to be like little Easter eggs or like everything is cohesive and tells a story. Even if it's like a silly story, it all is like planned out. But then there's this one song that like I swear I put the lyrics together in 25 minutes and it's one of our favorite songs on the whole record. So whenever we just like go in there and try and have fun and like don't think of like a single, that's when we get the
Mhm.
best songs out of it. I feel like.
You know what? Paranoid by Black Sabbath was done in 19 minutes, music and vocals, and it's their most
Oh
popular
wow.
song. So you just go with it. If it feels good, fuck it, put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
It's basically, hey, we have to do one more song. What do you want to do? I don't know, off the top of our head, let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we are nearing the end of our time with you. Thank you so
Yep.
much for joining
Yep.
us. We like to walk the plank a little bit, and I'm not even going to try to describe to you what this means. But if let's go with what is your favorite word to say out loud?
Oh, I don't know. Probably
Is going to be the standard
swagger
answer. Is it going to be the standard answer,
swag
Justin?
Swaggerocious was my favorite word that I said on the new EP. I created that word and it's pretty fun to say whenever we play it. So I'm
What's the
gonna
word?
swaggerocious.
Can you put an exclamation point at the end of it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
Yeah.
Then you're good.
So it's ferocious swag. What is the
Oh,
definition?
I haven't even thought that deeply. It's like you've got swag, but like yeah, he's swaggerocious or I'm swaggerocious. Like
What is that?
but
I
go
mean,
ahead.
I don't know what that even means. I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna tap into your human side. What song to this day makes you cry when you hear it?
Oh, Just Breathe by Pearl Jam.
Mm.
Does it strike a chord in your memory? There's an event that happened. Did a situation arise that the song provided your
No,
soundtrack for?
it's just a sad song. He's talking about like saying like watching somebody die. I
Mm.
feel like are you guys
Well,
looking for
Slayer
like
does
a
that stuff
specific
too.
answer?
No, it's
Uh-oh.
walk the plank. It's walk the plank, man. We're shoving
Dude,
you.
Oh,
I
okay.
could have asked you your spirit animal, whatever. It doesn't. What is
Yeah,
your
no,
spirit
you're
animal?
just
I didn't know
walking.
if there was like a joke you were trying to set up and like
No,
my
dude.
No, we're not.
These
We're
are
not that.
sincere questions. It's just something
We're not that
completely
clever.
removed
We're
from
not
what we're
that
talking
clever. We're
about.
definitely not that clever.
No, dude. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Hey, what is your spirit animal?
My favorite. Oh, my spirit animal.
Yeah.
Or favorite animal or spirit
No,
animal?
spirit.
Oh, whoa.
Spirits.
Okay. How about both?
Oh, both. See, I don't know why I asked the different because both would probably be the same answer. I love dogs. Dogs are awesome.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
If you could have a conversation with a deceased relative, who would it be?
Uh, Probably my grandfather.
Paternal or maternal?
Um, I don't know the difference
That would
between
be your
those two
mom or your
words.
dad.
My mom's side. Or my either or. Either
What?
or.
So he's not with us anymore. Why would you? What about him would intrigue you to want to have a conversation with him?
Well, my mom's biological father is from Italy, and like she didn't meet him until like much later in life, and so he was kind of always intriguing because there was a lot like we didn't know about him. Super nice guy, uh, very nice guy, but I guess it would be cool to learn more because I only knew him when I was a little kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing. Hey, the $1 million question for all musicians. If you weren't pursuing this as a career, what would you see yourself doing?
Well, I think it would be cool to use this to also have like some sort of a career in acting. I think there's a lot more money in acting. So maybe something like that.
So you went for another 1 in a million job. Okay, good.
Golly.
Well,
Dude, listen, we're always going to need trash collectors, man. We're always going to need
Yeah,
toilet
yeah, yeah.
paper. Holy
the
Christ.
world needs ditch diggers. So yeah.
Yeah, man.
When I'm currently when I'm not on tour and I'm back home and I need more money, landscaping is what I do.
There
So
you
I'm
go.
like
That right there.
yeah,
You could have said ranch management. I would have bought into that.
yeah.
Ranch
I'm
man.
a foreman for a landscaping company
Are you
when
really?
when I'm back home. Yeah,
Love it.
Fantastic, man. Awesome. Good for you. There you
Yeah.
go.
That's good
It's a
shit.
growth industry.
That's the less cool answer.
It's no, actually
No,
way
it's
cool, dude.
it's
Steady
it's
paycheck is way fucking cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Anyway,
it.
all right, Jackson, pleasure, man. Are we the first thing you guys are doing in 2025? Are you doing like a little mini tour leading up to us?
Yeah, so we've got the tour. That's why I was asking about Jigsaw Youth earlier, actually,
I saw
because we've got our headline tour, and they are direct support. So it's us and Jigsaw Youth. There's like 8 shows in the Midwest, and then we've got one in Atlanta, Florida, and then we work our way to the cruise.
There you go. It's like
Um,
Pac-Man, right?
Yeah, like
Taking little
Pac-Man.
chomps until you get to us.
Yep.
That's gonna be awesome, man. Well, listen,
I love
it's really a pleasure meeting you and listening to your stuff, and we can't wait for the reaction that the fans have when they see you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time and having me on, and super stoked to meet you guys on the cruise.
Yeah, likewise, man.
Yeah,
We'll see you soon.
absolutely, dude. Yeah, you take care of yourself.
Hell yeah, thank you
See you,
guys.
buddy.
See ya.
Have a great night, man. See ya.
You too. Bye.